Hello guys, welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. There is a message that I want to share with you guys, and this message, it comes from a translation of a WhatsApp voice note that I received from our dear brother who is here in Zim. This dear brother of ours, when I spoke with him, he then decided to send this WhatsApp voice note that we had to do a translation. The translation reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? I have my own confession to make. I am a man who is aged 68 years and I am married. I have 2 wives. The first wife that I got married to, she managed to give me 4 children. Then the second wife that I later married, she then gave me 3 children. This is my story in detail. When I met my first wife, I had gone to this other church because of some problems that I was facing in my life. So I then decided to visit those several white garment churches. When I arrived at this particular white garment church, that was when I saw the woman that I then got married to. She was quite a beautiful woman and she was a prayerful one, and she was the one who supported me when she knew about the challenges that I was facing in my life. I remember that even the first prayers that were given to me to perform, I could not even perform them on my own. And at that time, this lady, we were already dating. She then told me that she was going to assist me so that I can complete those prayers. The prayers that were given to me to complete was that I had to wake up somewhere around 2 a.m. when it was very cold, and after I had woken up, these buckets, I had to fill them up with water before I could have gone to sleep. So what I would do is that me and that lady that I was now dating for 3 days, before we could go to bed, we would then pour water into those buckets. Then at around 2 a.m. we would wake up. Then she would pour those buckets of water on my body as if she was baptizing me. This lady, my brother, she was quite a faithful woman, because at that time when we were still dating, as I was doing the prayers, she then told me that we were not going to do anything like having intercourse whilst I was doing these prayers. And she would come over to my place, then she would refuse to have intercourse with me. This we did. And after we had done doing the prayers, I then saw that this woman, she was quite a faithful woman, because she would sleep right there next to me. And whenever I would try to touch her, she would remind me of the troubles that I was facing in my life. And I was supposed to finish these prayers so that the doors to my opportunities can be opened for me through the prayers. After I had finished doing those prayers for about 3 days, there were more prayers that I had to do. And these prayers that I had to do, they were in form of river stones, which I had to place in the bucket of water when I'll be bathing. At first, what I was supposed to do is that I had to bath with regular soap. After I had finished bathing with soap, then I had to take clean water and then bath myself, not using a towel or using soap. Then I had to stand there in the bathroom whilst waiting for my body to dry itself, for I was not supposed to use a towel when I had bathed myself with those prayers in form of river stones. And she made sure that I followed these prayers that were given to me accordingly. And my brother, funny enough, even though I did not even believe in all of these prayers, to me, I was just doing it so that I can impress this very beautiful young lady that I was now dating. You know, as men, if you are in a relationship with a woman that denies you to have intercourse with her, then that is the more that you would want her, because she will be playing so hard to get. So I tried to go to her church so that I can keep on impressing her. but eventually I fell in love with her. Then one night after I had finished the prayers, that was when we slept together. Then one morning I woke up. I didn't even have transport money to go to town, so I walked on foot going to town. But as I was walking in this other area that is called Willowville, where a lot of industries were, that was when I went to this other place looking for a job, and then I was hired. From there on, my life kept on getting better and better. But the more that the life got better, that was when I started to cheat on that woman who had brought these blessings in my life, because at the company where I was working, I was then given a company car. So most of the women that I would give a lift, like when they would be hitchhiking, then I'll propose love to them. Most of them would never deny my proposal. At that time, I think that maybe I was dating somewhere between 3 to 5 women at the same time. And my wife, she didn't even know about this thing. Then one day, she then found out that I was cheating on her. She was really angry. Then she started to pack her bags and she said that she was going to leave me. I then sat down with my wife, knowing that she was a woman who was going to understand me, because I had done a lot of things in the past and I had seen that her character is that of an understanding woman. When I sat down with her, I told her that this thing, it was in my DNA, because like my grandfather, he had several wives. So even though I loved her the most, but still I needed to have at least 2 wives. She then agreed, but she told me that I should only choose one amongst the other women that I was dating. So my brother, instead of me looking for good character amongst my girlfriends that I was dating, I went for beauty. There was this other girlfriend of mine, even though I knew that she was a woman who was not straight in some of her dealings. She was a light-skinned woman, a very beautiful one. So I told myself that this one I am going to choose her, for she is light-skinned. If she is going to bear me children, she is going to give me children that are yellow bones and are light-skinned. So I chose her because of her beauty, not because of her character. So after I had spoken with my first wife concerning this thing of me wanting 2 wives, she then told me that I had to go and speak with her people as per our custom. So I went back to our village. Then I spoke with the elderly people that were still alive at that time. Then they went and spoke with my wife's relatives after they had negotiated with each other, and they gave me the demands that they had been given by my wife's relatives as per her request. So my wife, I paid her 3 cows. This is what she wanted, so that she will be able to accept my second wife. She also told my relatives that she no longer wanted to stay in the city, but she wanted to stay in the village. So after I had paid my wife the 3 cows that she needed, then she returned back to the village. So in the city, I was staying with my second wife, and my first wife, she was staying in the village. So my second wife, then she started to develop a bad character. Whenever I would speak with her, sometimes she would always be moody. Sometimes I'll return back from work and I'll see that there will be nothing that she would have cooked. So most of the times, I would find myself headed for the village, and my young wife, this she didn't like. She also told me that I was supposed to find a spot for her so that she can build her own home, just in case if I was going to die. So I spoke with my first wife, and as someone who was always understanding towards her husband, she agreed. Then we had to make a plan where the second wife was going to build her own house. When I returned back to the city, I then spoke with my second wife, and I told her that we were supposed to return back to the village so that I can show her the spot which we had decided that this was going to be the perfect spot for her to build her own house. But when she looked at that place, she said that it was not fit for her. Then we had to cut up another piece of land for her to build her own house. This is how my first wife and my second wife ended up building in the same compound, and that is where the whole trouble started. Because whenever I'll be in the village, I'll try to spend as much time as I could with my first wife, since I was staying with my second wife back in the city. But this, my second wife, she didn't like. Whenever we would return back to the village, if we were going to stay there for 4 days, she would want me to stay in her house for 2 nights, and this was not fair at all, and they started to fight a lot. All this while, my brother, I was only chasing after my second wife, Beauty. Whatever she would tell me, I would do, trying to please her, for she was very beautiful. Then she told me that I had taken a very long time before I had visited her relatives, but I didn't know, my brother, that this one, it was all but a setup. So I agreed, trying to impress her. We went together to her village